Most people think hypnosis looks like a swinging watch and a mysterious voice. But culture's hypnosis is quieter than that. It doesn't put you to sleep. Puts you on autopilot while you stay fully awake. And if you're trapped inside it, you can still succeed. You can still smile. You can still look normal. You can even feel proud of yourself. That's the danger. Because culture doesn't only tell you what to do. It tells you what to want. It tells you what to fear. It tells you what is realistic, what is impossible, what is cringe, what is respectable, what is insane. And if you never question that spell, you might live an entire life that isn't yours. In the spirit of Terence McKenna's most provocative theme, culture as a kind of mass trance, here are 7 signs you may be trapped in culture's hypnosis and what you can do to start waking up. Sign number 1. You feel guilty when you rest. Not tired. Guilty. You sit down. You breathe. You do nothing for 5 minutes. And a voice appears. You should be productive. You're falling behind. Other people are working. You don't deserve this. That voice isn't you. It's a program. It's a system that turns human beings into units of output. Real rest doesn't only restore your body. It restores your ability to hear your own mind. And that is exactly what the trance fears. Silence. Spaciousness. Unscheduled time. Because in that space, you might ask a dangerous question. What am I doing with my life? So the spell keeps you moving, keeps you busy. It keeps you optimizing. And you confuse motion with meaning. If rest feels like failure, you're not resting inside a human life. You're resting inside a machine. Sign number 2. Your opinions arrive prepackaged. Pay attention to how quickly you know what you think, before you've even felt it. A headline appears. You instantly choose a side. A clip goes viral. You instantly react. A new enemy is announced. You instantly hate. A new virtue is promoted. You instantly perform it. But where did that certainty come from? Most people don't form opinions. They adopt them. Culture hands you a menu of acceptable reactions, and you pick one like a sandwich. The illusion is that you are thinking. The reality is that you are repeating. This is not about politics. It's about consciousness. If your worldview never surprises you, if your beliefs never evolve, if your mind feels like a closed loop of recycled talking points, the trance has already written your script. A waking mind is not a mind that has the correct opinions. A waking mind is a mind that can pause, observe its own reaction, and ask, is this mine, or did it arrive in me? Sign number 3. You're terrified of being seen as weird. Culture doesn't only punish criminals. Punishes originality. Punishes it with laughter, with dismissal, with labels, with the slow social death of being excluded. So most people learn an unspoken rule. Do not stand out. Do not speak too honestly. Do not question the sacred assumptions. Do not say what you actually see. And what happens when you obey that rule for years? Your personality becomes a mask that never comes off. You start living for approval you can never fully secure. You become a performer in a play you didn't write. Here's the deeper tragedy. You stop exploring your own mind because you're afraid of what you might find. The trance loves the phrase, be yourself. It's safe marketing. But the trance hates the reality of it. The strange, unpredictable, unmarketable thing you are when you stop editing yourself to fit. If your deepest fear is social disapproval, culture owns you. Sign number 4. You can't tolerate uncertainty. Culture sells certainty like a drug. Certainty feels safe. Certainty feels like control. Certainty gives you a role, a tribe, a script, a moral high ground. Certainty gives you a shortcut through the terrifying openness of existence. But reality is not certain. Reality is alive. When you're hypnotized, you demand that life be tidy. You demand that people be one thing. You demand that the world fit inside your categories. And when it doesn't, you panic. You cling harder. You fight harder. You simplify harder. But a mind that cannot tolerate uncertainty is a mind that cannot discover anything new. It can only confirm what it already believes. Waking up feels like standing at the edge of a vast ocean without a map. The trance offers you a small pond with a fence around it and says, this is all there is. If you choose the fence, you choose psychological comfort over truth. Sign number 5. You live in someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll create. Someday I'll quit. Someday I'll be free. And someday never comes. Culture hypnotizes you with a future that keeps moving away. It trains you to delay your life until you earn permission, until you get the right credential, until you lose the weight, until you have more money, until you're finally ready. But readiness is often a lie. Not because preparation is bad, preparation matters, but because the trance uses preparation as procrastination. It makes you worship potential while your real days disappear. Ask yourself this. Are you building a life? Or are you rehearsing one? A waking mind understands something brutal and liberating. The only time you ever have is now. Not as a cliché but as a fact. The future is an idea. The present is your only doorway. If your life is always about to begin, you may already be asleep. Sign number 6. Your attention is not yours. This might be the biggest sign of all. You wake up and reach for a screen. You feel a tug in your chest like a leash. You scroll without wanting to. You click without choosing. You open an app and forget why. You feed the machine your most precious resource, your awareness, and you call it normal. But attention is life. What you give attention to becomes your inner world. And if you don't own your attention, you don't own your experience. You don't own your memory. You don't own your identity. Culture's hypnosis today is not only ideologies. It's algorithms. It's the constant interruption that prevents deep thought. The endless novelty that replaces real wonder. The manufactured urgency that makes everything feel important and nothing feel meaningful. A hypnotized mind cannot stay with a single thought long enough to reach depth. Can only skim, react, consume, repeat. If you cannot sit in silence for 10 minutes without feeling anxious, you're not bored. You're conditioned. And the first step of waking up is simple but not easy. Reclaim your attention like you're reclaiming stolen property. Sign number 7. You feel spiritually hungry, but you keep feeding it symbols. This is subtle. You feel a longing, a thirst. Something in you knows there's more. You sense the mystery behind the ordinary. But instead of approaching that mystery directly, you chase representations of it. You collect spiritual aesthetics. Quotes, books you don't read, practices you don't embody, identities you don't live. You wear enlightenment like a costume. Culture loves spiritual branding because it's harmless. It sells you the appearance of awakening without the risk of transformation. Real awakening is not comfortable. It dismantles your self-image. It dissolves your certainties. It challenges your addictions not just to substances, but to distraction, status, and control. The trance says, buy this, post that, join this, repeat this phrase, and you'll feel whole. But wholeness isn't a product. Wholeness is what remains when you stop running from yourself. So what do you do if you recognize these signs? You don't fix culture. You don't defeat society. You start smaller. You start where all hypnosis lives. Inside your own mind. First, create pockets of silence. Not as a luxury, as a rebellion. 10 minutes a day with no music, no phone, no input. Just you and the raw presence of being alive. Second, practice noticing the spell. When you feel outrage, pause. When you feel envy, pause. When you feel the need to perform, pause. Ask, who benefits from this reaction? Third, seek direct experience. Not borrowed opinions. Not second-hand meaning. Direct contact with reality. Nature, art, deep conversation, solitude, disciplined creativity, honest self-inquiry. And fourth, choose one act of authentic weirdness. One small truth you've been hiding. One creative risk. One boundary. One decision that your old self would postpone. Not to impress anyone. Not to become a brand. Just to prove to your nervous system that you can survive being real. Because that is how the trance breaks. Not all at once, but crack by crack. Culture's hypnosis is powerful, but it's not supernatural. It's a story, and you can stop living inside stories you didn't write. You can wake up without becoming cynical. You can step outside the program without hating the world. You can see the spell and still love the people under it because they are you, just at a different moment of the dream. The question is simple. Do you want comfort or do you want freedom? If you want freedom, start with your next minute. Own it, protect it, and use it to become the author of your own attention. That's where the mind field becomes a mind, awake, alive, and impossible to program.